Now, this isn't just like a thing where you say an affirmation and all of your problems are solved. No, this is a real thing that works. This isn't just think happy thoughts and you're flying, Wendy darling. This is everything. Hi, I'm Courtney Foster-Donahue. You're watching The Courtney Show, and today I want to talk to course creators or coaches or consultants that want to soon create an online course. Basically, if you've got a system, a process, a method, a model, a special way of doing something, and you want to share that with more people in the form of online courses, then this video is going to be a big deal for you, because in this video, I'm going to talk about 5 things to do and 5 things to avoid when launching an online course. Now, of course, there are more than 5 things to do and definitely more than 5 things not to do when launching an online course, but I've chosen to focus on the 5 big things in both categories that I think probably make the biggest difference or the biggest distinction between successful course creators and unsuccessful course creators. But before we get going, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, click that red subscribe button, click on the bell to get notifications, and go ahead and congratulate your future self through the space-time continuum for making a solid choice. Seriously, I've got so much good stuff for you both in my current videos and in my future videos, so I don't want you to miss a thing. Also, be sure to stick around for the very end of the video so you can learn more about our weekly drawing, including fabulous prizes. Now, let's talk about the 5 things to do and the 5 things to avoid when launching an online course. Now, I'm not just flinging out random advice at you. Everything I'm sharing with you is based in my experience creating and launching over a dozen online courses, running dozens of launches, and working with hundreds of course creators to create and launch their online courses. So I'm sharing with you what I've learned after building a multi-million-dollar online course company. So this stuff isn't theoretical, it's practical. Here goes. The first thing to not do is to obsess over insignificant decisions. I see so many course creators waste so much time over things that just don't have a big impact on the success of their online courses. And conversely, they spend way too little time giving their attention to the things that actually do matter. And it's not enough for me just to tell you that. I want to show you what I mean. It's pie chart time. This is how to not spend your time when creating an online course. As you will see from the brightly colored pie chart, almost half of the time I find that people are trying to choose a course platform like it's their job. That's like 45% of the time. 10% of the time is trying to come up with a name for your course, which, by the way, this is important, but you can change this later. So it's definitely not something to spend a ton of time on. 10% of the time I see people are crowdsourcing in free groups that often give bad advice. 10% of the time people are Googling things that just don't matter when they can get better answers elsewhere from actual experts. And about 1/4 of the time, 25% of the time, you're questioning everything and collapsing in on yourself like a dying star, like the episode of The Office where Jan wasn't in a good way, which was most of the episodes. But how to best spend your time when creating your online course, that looks totally different. So in reality, you should be spending about 20% of your time validating your course idea. After all, why go through all of the trouble of creating an online course only to find out that no one even wants it or needs it or thinks that they need it? About 10% of the time, you're planning out your content. And for my students in my program, you know that is the free mapping method. About 20% of your time, you're priming your audience, getting them ready to receive your course, so that 30% of the time you're spending selling your actual course. A course is not a course without students. We want to make sure you take time to prime your audience and sell to them to actually fill your course with students. It's not helping anyone if no one's actually there to consume your lessons and modules and all of your good course content. About 10% of your time is spent creating your course, because after all, your course content is the thing that you are an expert at. When all is said and done, that should not and doesn't need to take a ton of time. The thing that you should really be spending time on is actually creating a container in which to sell your course and get it out there to more people. That's probably not the thing that you're an expert at, whereas your course content is your area of expertise. And then of course you round it out with the last 10%. You're patting yourself on the back for being awesome and decisive and spending your time in the best possible way. So don't deliberate over decisions that just don't make a big impact. You don't need to research course platforms for months or weeks or even days. You can and should make the decision in an afternoon. It's the least important decision you'll ever make for your online course, and you can always change your platform later. The impact that this decision has on the success of your course, both from a profit standpoint and a student success standpoint, is mostly insignificant. It just doesn't matter. Like I tell all my students with all their course-related decisions, just chill and choose. You can always change your course name, your course platform, even your course content later. Now, getting back to it. The second thing to not do when launching an online course is to worry. And I mean, as humans, there really is no benefit to worrying, but when it comes to your online course, it is especially unhelpful. This advice might not seem very actionable, but hear me out, okay? One of the biggest concerns we see with both our students and members of our general community is that their course won't work, or that they won't make sales, or no one will be interested in their course. Now, of course, there are some things, there are actionable things you can do to avoid that altogether and any need to worry, and we'll get to those in just a moment, but I want to reframe that mindset right now. Rather than worrying about if it won't work, what would happen if you focused on what would happen if it does work, or when it does work, right? Rather than worrying about not getting sales, focus on getting sales and let the dreams you have of what that would mean drive you to action that will probably result in sales. Or as I like to say to my students, you can be data-driven or drama-dependent. Now, this isn't just like a thing where you say an affirmation and all of your problems are solved. No, this is a real thing that works. This isn't just think happy thoughts and you're flying, Wendy darling. This is everything. And if you get nothing else from this video, the most important thing that you can learn when launching an online course is this. Thoughts are not facts. One more time, in case you missed that one, because this is so important. Thoughts, the things that you think, are not facts. They're not necessarily true. You might have a thought as a response to a fact, to a circumstance, but your thought is just a perception of reality. It's not necessarily reality. And if you've ever looked at an optical illusion before, or you thought you saw something, but then you realized your eyes were playing tricks on you, you know this. You know that perception isn't always reality. Just because you think you see something some way, or you think about something a certain way, doesn't mean it's true or that it even matters. But your thoughts, they are mighty powerful. So if you think something, if you choose to believe something that maybe is or isn't true, that directly impacts the actions you take, which directly impacts the results that you get. So if you're worried something won't work, and if you're worried you won't be able to have a successful online course, you probably won't have a successful online course. As I like to say all of the time, partly because it rhymes and I'm dorky that way, the things you believe influence the things you achieve. But it's true, right? Your thoughts and beliefs are a choice. So choose a different thought and let that propel you forward into possibility. Think of all the things that could go right and all of the things you could have and do with your successful course. That will motivate you. Hope and enthusiasm can create momentum that moves you forward into great results. Doubt and fear do the opposite. I'm gonna get off of my soapbox now because it's time to move on to the third thing. The third thing to not do when launching an online course. Don't create a course in a vacuum, meaning don't create it on your own with no input from potential students or actual students or real data. Do two things instead. Validate your idea by talking to potential students. And I'm not talking about doing surveys or polls and Facebook groups. That won't give you the real data that you need. But instead, have real conversations with real people. Then, the other thing, pre-sell your course, meaning sell it before you create it. Yes, that way you can create your course with your first students from your beta launch and make the course the best it can be with the real-time feedback that you're getting from them. This is so much better for your business because you get paid sooner. It's better for your students because you get to help them sooner. And it's better for your actual course because you get to improve it sooner. Next up from our list of don'ts. Don't use a field of dreams business strategy, meaning just because you build it doesn't necessarily mean they will come. And this is especially true for online courses. And to be perfectly frank, an online course isn't really an online course if it doesn't have students. So it's not enough just to throw up some information on a web page with a buy now button and hope people will show up. How are you really helping people that way anyway? Who are you helping with that strategy, or lack of strategy, I should say? I believe you should look at your online course as a gift. After all, it's something that can help people solve problems and improve the quality of people's lives. So if you're going to give a gift, something special to someone, do you just throw it on their doorstep wrapped up in a plastic Target bag and then run away? Of course not. You would put it in a package that would denote the value, and you'd hand it to them with a sense of endowment, maybe excitement, to share that special thing that you picked out just for that person, right? The way that you launch your course should be the same thing. We don't just post and ghost. We don't just put up a link in a couple of places and hope that somehow, some way, someone, somewhere will find the link and give you money for the course. You need to create an experience for people. You need to find your audience, then promote your course to them, this solution to a problem you've created, and give them a compelling reason to take action and join your course. This isn't just about getting sales, though that definitely is a big side effect of this with a clear, specific launch strategy. This is about getting your course out there to more people so you can help more people. So when you actually have a real launch strategy and are thoughtful about not just selling to your current audience, but going beyond that, you have the power to dramatically increase not just your income, but your impact. And when you do that, everyone wins. Now, the final item from our list of don'ts is this. Don't spend time to save money. Instead, be willing to possibly spend money to save time. Now, if you're thinking, Courtney, I don't have time or money, so how does this help me? Hear me out, okay? Time is a major variable here, because the reality is that most of the students who come to us don't come to us because they had an idea for a course last week and they're ready to put it together this week. Not at all. Most of the people who work with us have been sitting on an idea for an online course for weeks or months or even years. Yes, literally years of thinking about creating an online course, trying to figure out how to have an online course, but not actually having or launching an online course. Now, is it okay to take time with some things? Absolutely. Wine is best when it's allowed to sit and age, and barbecue is at its most delicious when you go low and slow, right? But business isn't barbecue. Speed matters. And if you spend too much time doing something that is insignificant, you waste that time, which means you waste money. Or honestly, wasting time is even worse than wasting money, because time is a non-renewable resource. Money is renewable. You can always get more of it, even if you maybe don't think you can right now, if it doesn't feel like it, but you can't get back more time. Once you've spent it, it's gone, and it continues on ceaselessly, whether you want it to or not. So a successful course creator gets this, and they do something about it. A successful course creator doesn't necessarily spend tons of money to get their course out there. In reality, you don't really have to spend much of anything, but it's the willingness to possibly spend some money to save time that separates a successful course creator from an unsuccessful one. On the flip side, an unsuccessful course creator is only focusing on saving money by spending time. And while this might work in the short term when you're just getting started, I get it, this is not an ideal long-term game plan. This is not a sustainable strategy. You will almost never see significant business growth by saving, but rather investing. And it's just logic, right? So why would you die on the hill of spending time to save money? Instead, why would you not be willing to spend some money, a renewable resource, to save time, a non-renewable resource? When you think of it logically, it just makes sense. But again, to be really clear, I'm not talking about spending a ton of money and then your course is a success and all of your problems are solved. This is not about that. This is about the willingness to spend money if it means you can shorten the learning curve, get your course created and launched faster, and start helping people that much sooner. Now, maybe for you, that looks like hiring a copywriter to create a fabulous sales page because it's taking too long and copy isn't your strength, right? Maybe it means hiring a graphic designer to do your slides for your webinar because you've spent way too many hours trying to figure it out yourself. Maybe it means running ads so you can grow your audience faster, get more leads for your list, and therefore have more students in your course. Or maybe still, meta moment, it means seeking out a proven system for efficiently creating and launching your online course, much like the ones that we feature inside our programs for course creators, which happen to be linked up below. Just saying. But whatever this looks like for you, the willingness to spend money to save time rather than always spending time to save money is paramount to a successful, sustainable course and business. Okay. So we talked about a lot of big stuff in today's episode, so I want to do a quick recap because I don't want you to forget anything. The first thing I told you to not do is to obsess over insignificant decisions. Instead, the thing to do is to make decisions quickly, knowing that most course-related decisions are not permanent. The platform you choose, the name of your course, even the content in your course, the structure of it, you can always change that stuff later. So like I told you in this video, chill and choose. Move fast. Don't obsess over things that just don't matter. The second thing I said to not do is to let your thoughts negatively impact your actions, which negatively impact your results. I talked about how thoughts are not facts. So if you're choosing to perceive something or think about something one way, like worrying about if your course will or won't work, if people will or won't buy it, choose a different thought. Choose to get excited, to get creative about promoting your course, and let all of the amazing things that could result from your online course be what motivates you. Hope motivates, doubt does not. And then the third thing I said was, don't create your course in a vacuum. Instead, validate your idea with your potential students by actually talking to them, no polls or surveys or any of those shenanigans, because that's not going to give you the answers you need. Instead, have real conversations with real people. Then pre-sell your course, create it with your students. It should be collaborative. This is better for your course, your business, and your students. The fourth thing I talked about not doing is posting and ghosting. Just throwing up a link and hoping somebody somewhere at some point will find it and buy your course. No, that's not how you're gonna give a gift. That's not how you launch a course. And finally, the last thing I talked about was the distinction and the significance of spending time to save money versus what you should be doing if you want to have a successful course, which is to be willing to possibly spend money to save time, which is a non-renewable resource. After all, your course is benefiting no one if it's just an idea in your head. So take the steps you need to take to get your course out there into the world faster. We all benefit when you do that. So, if something I said here was of value to you, awesome, I love that, yay! Share that in the comments below and give me your biggest takeaways. And if you want to take it one step further, you can share those takeaways on Instagram and be entered to win our weekly drawing. Simply take a screenshot from this video, like right now, tag my Instagram handle right here, and post that to IG stories. We'll share you with our audience as well, and you'll also be entered to win possibly some fabulous prizes in our weekly drawing. So go check that out. And finally, if you want to take things to the next level and work with my team to create and launch your profitable, successful online course and save time, we want to help you. Visit the link below to book a strategy call with us, and we can map out your entire game plan for creating and launching your course in the next month and scaling your course beyond that next month. So visit the link below to book that free call. That's it for today. Thanks for tuning in to The Courtney Show. Thanks for sharing your takeaways below and over on the gram, and I'll see you next time. So, we talked about a lot of big stuff in today's episode. It means seeking out a proven system for efficiently creating an one more time.
Like one little piece that wants to be separate from the rest of the bangsies.
Doing that thing,
Like
like when I sing off key. Okay, so, you know what? It'll be hard for you to edit. We've got the bloopies. Yeah.
I'm cool.